fly. Too many people on a bandwagon. Done been through that hellfire. Came out lethal like a red dragon. Same old rapper with the same old flows. Color dreads with the pants sagging. Got that fame, but you sold your soul. You a warlock, I'm the dark assassin. Said thick stacks, mode change, big bags, faux chains. Get that money, said big facts, no gains, big stats, mo fame. We back stunts, said big names. On stage, big trap, no shame. Going and running that big check.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 847. Make sure you like and share, drop some comments, drop some biceps and gorillas, and we're going to get this show underway. Oh yeah. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes. Yes. It is time. It is time. Time to swole on. Indeed, Hillary. Indeed. Time to swole on. Get those gains on. Ah. Hey. Hey. Underway. Underway protein. No whey protein. None. Zero.
Went out, caught me a red fly. Too many people on a bandwagon. Done been through that hellfire. Came out lethal like a red dragon. Same old rapper with the same old flows. Color dreads with the pants sagging. Got that fame, but you sold your soul. You a warlock, I'm the dark assassin. Said thick stacks, mode change, big bags, faux chains. Get that money, said big facts, no gains, big stats, mo fame. We back stunts, said big names. On stage, big trap, no shame.
Oh, Ursula, newbie, everyone. New to the show. Welcome, welcome. Say hi. Everyone say hi, Ursula. Everyone's welcome on the daily. Make sure you say what up. Say what up, what up, what up, what up, what up. Hey. Hey, this is Papa Swolio. Hey. Hey. Ah. Now we're almost ready to get started. Newbies rock, they do. I agree. What up, noobs? What up, what up, what up? Yeah, 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 yeah. Uh-huh, yeah. What? Yeah.
Went out, caught me a red fly. Too many people on a bandwagon. Done been through that hellfire. Came out lethal like
all right, Samwise Slamgy, let's get this show started. Episode 847. Here we go. Oh, oh.
Shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Test, 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 testing, 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 test, 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 testing, testing, test ickles. Welcome everyone to episode 847 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beardcast, broadcast, gaincast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, slaycast, nipplecast, chesticlecast, bicepscast, beardcast, coffeecast, and beefcast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Any kind of cast is welcome on the Daily Schwar. The Daily Schwar. Welcome to episode 847. I am live everywhere, absolutely everywhere again. So those of you, I hope it's streaming there. I don't think anyone's watching there because I just started a new channel on YouTube, a separate channel for the Daily Swole, a separate channel for the Daily Swolecast. Not sure if it's going through right now. It looks like it might be kind of in the middle of connecting. I don't know, but you can check that out. And I'll link everyone if you're curious. But it's the Daily Swole podcast on YouTube. So you could be one of the first subscribers. I'm going to start posting and doing live streams on a separate channel and uploading little clips and things like that. So it's going to be separate. So that's new. We're back on Periscope, and I just decided to turn everything back on. So we're live everywhere. I want to be live everywhere. Everywhere you can catch Papa Swolio, I am casting my net far and wide. Yeah, it's a sausage cast. I forgot the sausage cast. I have the sausage fest on the board. It's actually a sausage cast today too. I forgot about that. And before we get started, or as we get started, today we're going to talk about the carnivore diet. And I posted a video on YouTube. If you did not see that, make sure you go check that out. Swolenormous on YouTube, of course. Most of you are aware of my YouTube channel. So I posted that today, and this has come back into the forefront of media. There's a lot of videos on YouTube. People are posting, people are trying the carnivore diet, and this is the all meat diet. So we'll get into that, and I'll explain what it is, the concept behind it. And this is not going to be any answer. I'm not going to be definitively saying this is good or bad, but I want to discuss it, let you all know what it is actually, and what some of the benefits possibly. And maybe some of you have some experience or you've seen some things, but just what's kind of coming out, because as we all know, when it comes to social media, internet, now we have access to a lot more information. And not just that, we're able to search information, but also because people are able to post information, and you don't have to get your information, not that it's a better way or a worse way, but I'm saying you don't have to necessarily get your information from a medical journal. You can have people literally in the field like themselves giving their diaries and literally explaining what they're doing and what they feel and what their experience is, what they're going through actually. And as we all know, nutrition is very individualized. It's very, very individualized. There isn't any definitive answer one way or the other. So we're going to get into that in just a moment. Those of you that have been following me for a while, you're aware of my website, swolenormousx.com. Just want to let you all know, because it is Friday. It's going through Sunday evening at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. So midnight on Sunday, I'm running a special where you get 25% off the unlimited memberships on swolenormousx.com. So the details are in the description on Facebook and whatnot. But the code is SWOLE25, no space, SWOLE 25 at checkout, and you can get 25% off the monthly or the yearly, the annual membership. So that's super cool. And I'm doing that in part because, I'm not saying in part, I'm doing that because this is the end of August and the beginning of September. And you know what season it is, fam. You know what season it is. It is the month number 9. It's September. 9, 10, 11, 12. You know what happens now, right? Come on. It's holiday season. It's upon us. The rage is going to get real again. It's time to slam the social stigmas, right? And the social standards for the holiday season. This is my time. This is my time to shine. This is Papa Swole. This is Swole season. I like to rage on the holidays. And those of you that have been listening for a while, you know that this is my season. This is my time to lay some knowledge pipe across people's faces. And it's the best time to start. It's really the best time to start a fitness program, because it's going to keep you disciplined and accountable through the holidays. Now is the best time to start, because if you're serious now, you're not going to get stuck into that New Year's, I'll wait till January 1st. Don't you fucking do it. Whether you're watching or listening, don't you fucking do it. Don't be that person. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Don't be that jabroni that waits until January 1st. Don't be a fucktard, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Don't be a fucktard. Don't be an asshole. Don't be one of those people that, I'm just going to let it fucking go for 3 months. You have any idea how much weight you can gain in 3 months, in 4 months? I have people messaging me all the time about things they're cutting out, and they realize, holy shit, I was drinking 1,500, 2,000 calories a day in my coffee, in soda. Like, these are the things that you're going to be exposed to. People bringing in leftovers at work and all the family things. I mean, the nutrition and the training is essential at this point. So that's why I'm doing this right now. So today, tomorrow, Sunday, Swole25 at checkout, swolenormousx.com. You click on the store. Unlimited memberships are 25% off. Do not miss this. I will be sending out more emails and talking about this all weekend, but I'm telling you, don't miss out on it. It's a perfect time to start. Everything's just been, I have so much content. I'm ready to upload new workouts and stuff. So those of you that are already in X, new yoga classes and things like that, you got a lot of stuff coming. So there's that. So perfect time to get into it. Let's say hi to some people. Abdullah, Shari, Jake's here for the knowledge nukes. Yeah, you're in the right spot, bro. It's all about the game train on a Friday, James. Absolutely, no doubt. I've never done New Year's resolutions. Holly, Waste of time. I try to better myself daily regardless. Well, aren't you special? I'm kidding. You are special. That's the best. That's the way it should be. I posted on Instagram today about making those little small changes every day, right? The incremental changes, the incremental things, those little small things. Doesn't have to be anything major. You don't have to overhaul your whole life every day. I think that's where we get overwhelmed with trying to make change. We think the change has to be drastic. But in reality, if you make those small incremental changes, it's actually better off because you're more able to manage that change and implement that change into a habit and be consistent with it. That's really the best way to change, is to just make little things better every day. You need Swolenormous coffee cups, go get one. Swolenormousapparel.com. You get your coffee cups there, bruh. Dost thou not know about Swolenormousapparel.com? I have too many things going on. I have so many things that people just don't realize where my things are. Yeah, you can get coffee cups, you get my shirts, you get all the gear over at Swolenormousapparel.com. Yeah, and I got some new things coming too over there. Stay disciplined, folks. Little improvements every day. Good. Love it. All right, so now that we are we're balls deep right now into the show, 8:47. So we're good moments in. Let's talk a little bit about the carnivore diet. Now, this popped up interestingly enough. I mentioned it before. We've discussed it. A lot of you know that I'm big on beef. I'm big on grass-fed beef. I love bone broth. I love my high-fat consumption, and I eat a lot of grass-fed beef and steaks and things like that. So I get plenty of fat in. So I really play around with the carbohydrate. I've always done that, and most people do, especially when you're trying to lose weight or lean out for physique or aesthetic purposes. When you cut carbohydrates, in most cases, you're going to lose weight because what you're doing is, when you're cutting carbohydrates, you lose a lot of water too. So when people go ketosis, or when people go extremely high fat, or they cut some major carbohydrates, processed carbohydrates out, that's where people get lost with nutrition, with the standard American diet, and where people normally eat is the carbohydrates, and especially the processed carbohydrates. So when you start cutting out carbs, water goes with the carbohydrates. So you cut out carbohydrates, and people usually lose weight right away, right? You cut out, even if you go vegan, you go keto, you do any kind of these diets, okay? And I used to say, oh, don't worry about the word diet. Diet has the word die in it. I think we have to realize that the word diet just means, the sum of what you consume during the day. And we tend to think of the word as diet as something temporary, but it's really not. It's just really the way you consume food. What you consume, like all your consumption, that's your diet. Okay, so that's the actual definition of it. And, where we kind of lose track of things is this categorization, right? Everything has to have a name. Everything has to have a team, right? Everything has to have a jersey, right? You got like the keto jersey, you got your stripes and your colors, your home and away jersey, I'm keto. And then you have your vegan people, and you have your vegan jersey, and you have your vegan flag, and I'm a vegan. And then you have Atkins, and you have South Beach, or you have, what are some other ones, right? You have paleo, you have, pescatarian, vegetarian, you have all these different teams. So it's kind of like lanes. I don't want to say it's like lanes on a highway, but it's kind of like different categories. And once you're in one of those categories, all of a sudden, there really isn't any kind of fluctuation, right? You're not kind of vegan. You're not vegan and then you eat meat. It's you're vegan or you're not vegan, right? You're pescatarian. So like every time you have a title or a name on your nutrition, it puts you into a box, right? It puts you into this category. It puts you into this corner where you really don't have any flexibility. So that's where I come in. Well, I mean, I come in because I want to come in. When Papa Swole wants to fucking come in, he comes in. So where I approach nutrition with my members and on this show is I talk about the elimination, right? I talk about how to determine what foods you react best to. And anyone can do this. And this is completely independent of any type of diet or any style. Okay. I don't care. I make funny videos on YouTube and stuff. I go after lots of things, right? I poke fun of vegans. I poke fun of CrossFit. I really have no problem with what anyone does. I don't care what you do. I focus on myself. You focus on you. As long as we are all open and we're friendly and we can poke fun, it's fun to have satirical and parody videos. But really, when it comes to nutrition specifically, it's on the individual. Some people love being a vegan and their health checks out as far as it currently is. They enjoy it. They have energy. They like that lifestyle for whatever reason, and they enjoy it. Okay, fine. That's fine for you. Some people love paleo. Some people love keto. So how are you going to tell someone that is on a specific diet, a way of eating? How are you going to tell them that it's not good? If they feel great, if they look good, if they have great results, how are you going to tell them otherwise? You can't, right? And especially when you start approaching your nutrition from, how do I maximize my health? How do I maximize how I feel, right? How do I maximize my result with health, with physique, with getting rid of fat, with getting rid of my migraines, with getting rid of my joint pain, with having more energy, with getting stronger, with gaining weight, with losing weight? How do you get better at that? And I'm not going to criticize what anyone does because I'm not perfect either. But if you want to do that without eating any meat, that's fine. That's on you. If you want to do that with only eating fish, that's fine. That's on you. If you want to do that with eating a high fat diet, that's fine. That's on you. And there's evidence and there's research and there's anecdotal, evidence and people posting on YouTube and Instagram and things saying all these different things, quoting different studies, blah, blah, blah. I think we can agree on one thing, that pretty much no one has any fucking idea what's going on. And it's really too early in science terms to actually point a finger and say, this is the answer. We have some concepts, we have some correlations, but we don't have the causation. We don't have, this is the right answer. This is what you should do. This is what people should do. This is the way it should be. Because it comes down to the individual. How can you have some people that love being a vegan and some people, let's get some insight from the audience. Everyone that's watching right now, what are you currently doing? What's your nutrition like? What's your diet like? Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, wherever you're watching from, what is your nutrition like right now? Are you doing anything specific? What are you eating? Just put a little bit some of the foods that you're consuming. If you're doing something like keto, you can put keto. I want to know, I want to see what everyone in the audience right now is doing, and we can discuss that. And how are you feeling? Have you done an elimination? Give me some background and share with everyone what your background is in terms of your nutrition. So when you come at your nutrition from the right perspective, right? You're coming at it from health. We're not talking about morals. We're not talking about ethics. We're not talking about saving the planet. We're talking about your health, right? What's best for you? What's best for you? What do you react best with? What doesn't cause you pain, suffering? What doesn't cause you bloating? What doesn't cause you fucking diarrhea? What doesn't cause you to have insomnia? What doesn't cause you to have cold sweats? What doesn't cause you to have an elevated heart rate? What doesn't cause you to have depression or anxiety? Your health, finding your health. When you really do an elimination and you determine what foods are best for you, individual, not what's best for me, not what Papa Swole eats, not what your mother eats, not what your friend eats, not what any jabroni on YouTube says they eat or Instagram, not any of these keto experts or intermittent fasting experts. What is best for you? And you can try some of these pre-made diets and things like that, but it still doesn't give you the answer. Like if you really have to do testing on yourself, you really have to get into it. All right. And most of you know that I'm not a fan of counting. I'm not a fan of micromanaging my food intake unless you have specific goals or really isn't any need. If you're eating the quality foods that you need to consume, your weight's going to balance. And of course, once you're eating the right foods, you can eat less or eat more to gain or lose weight, and depends on how you're training. And there's a lot of other subtle factors. And what we're learning from nutrition is that there's a lot more than just the calories in, calories out. There's a lot to do with inflammation and what those calories are causing as a chain reaction, because you can end up gaining weight from having less calorie intake because of the inflammation and other hormone imbalances that certain foods, if you have allergic reactions, can cause. And there's so many variables. There aren't really necessarily specific examples, but if you have something that's causing inflammation in your gut and your intestines, and you have leaky gut and things are getting through, we're talking about over-the-counter medications and, Motrin and Tylenol, probiotics and all these other things that people are just consuming, vitamins. And some of these things are just really not good for you. Some of these things don't react well. or there's stabilizers, and we have emulsifiers in our food, and a lot of shit that is just fucking bad. So when you really get down to it, and you get down to what foods are best for you, it's really hands-on, right? It's really hands-on. It's really hands-on. It's really you getting into it, you getting into the trenches to figure it out for yourself. And I can't tell you, I can give you some common inflammatory foods, right? I mean, I'll talk about the things that are commonly inflammatory, right? We know alcohol can be very inflammatory, so can sugary foods, candies, cakes, processed carbohydrates, breads, gluten. All these things are very commonly inflammatory. Dairy, and grain-fed foods and hormones in our foods and things like that. So a lot of these things can cause issues in many, and in most cases, most people. It doesn't mean everyone's going to react the same way. That's where you have I don't want to say controversy, but that's where you have like the split, because not everyone reacts the same way. I can say that dairy is a common inflammatory, and it's true. A lot of people have dairy issues. And when it comes to nutrition, not everything that you eat has a digestive effect. If you eat something that your body doesn't like, it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to have diarrhea directly. It doesn't mean you're going to have a stomach ache. If you eat something and you have a stomach ache, you're going to blame the food, right? You're going to blame the food. It's probably the food. You ate something, it didn't go well. It must have been something I ate. However, if you have a migraine the next day or 2 days later, right? If you eat something bad, let's say you have dairy on Monday, on Wednesday or Thursday, if you have a really bad migraine, are you going to relate that migraine to the dairy you had on Monday, or the joint pain, or the bloating, or the dragging ass? Let's say you're feeling sluggish. Are you going to relate that on Monday, or are you going to think, oh, what I eat today, and it's Wednesday or Thursday? And there's a lot of different side effects that aren't necessarily digestive that you can have from food. Excuse me. And that's another thing that we are figuring out. So unless you actually really get into it, you can't say that you have a great diet or a perfect diet. You can't say you really know everything about your body if you've never really tested those things. And most people that are having issues losing weight and so forth are really not doing things correctly. As much as you might think you eat clean, a lot of the health foods that you're consuming doesn't mean that they're good for you. A lot of the health foods that we've been taught, even vegetables, even breads and whole grains and all that crap, is not good for you. A lot of things aren't good for individuals, and you might think that they're healthy just because they're a vegetable, but they could be causing you inflammation. They could be causing you problems. You have things like nightshades that can cause issues. We're talking tomatoes, eggplants, a lot of things with seeds, the skin of tomatoes, the seeds of tomatoes. A lot of these things can cause problems in people. Beans, for example, you might think, oh, they're healthy. Well, maybe not for you. Maybe you're going to have a lot of issues from the lectin content. You have to pressure cook your beans or other vegetables and forms of food, A1 casein or A2 casein proteins, processed dairy rather than raw dairy, grass-fed. There's a lot of different factors. And even if you take all these factors into account, everyone's going to be different. You're going to have 10 people, and each person might react differently. So that's just setting it up, explaining how there's a lot of, and that's really the reason why it's so hard to get a straight answer when it comes to nutrition, because there's so much variability from person to person and what each person will react to. So when you do a test, you don't have clones. We don't have clones of human beings. We don't have 50 of the same exact person. You have 50 people or 100 people, which isn't that big of a population size. It really isn't. And you can't have a monitor on them all the time. So they go home and self-report their food, and you can't really be sure if they're, and then you're not controlling for grass-fed products or other things or sleep factors and exercise. Like, you can't have your hand on someone's life all the time. So these studies are really loose. And we try to pull these correlations from these studies, and it just doesn't give us any real definitive answers. You can point to certain things, and that's where you get these documentaries and people, spouting as if they have the answer from a couple studies. Even if they're big studies, it still doesn't necessarily account for the variables that are most important in terms of health. And there's also genetic factors and epigenetic factors that we're still determining. So it can get very complicated, even with blood work, where a lot of if you're in the medical field, I know a lot of you that are listening and watching are in the medical field. When you get a blood work done, it can be affected by whether or not you're exercising before or you worked out intensely in the days leading up to a blood test, if you fasted or not. A blood test at any time during the day can fluctuate. You can have different cholesterol levels at different times of the day. So a blood test done every year or every 6 months or every couple years is just a snapshot of that moment in that day. It's not necessarily what you are all the time. Maybe that was a fluke, or that was one moment where it was a little bit high or lower, or there's higher cholesterol because you didn't eat any food that day. So your blood cholesterol was higher, and there's different things that might lead to you getting prescribed medication when you really don't need the medication, or being told or being led down a different path by your medical quote professional that doesn't know the first thing about nutrition. And most of them don't. They're classically taught, and we're learning a lot more faster than these physicians can keep up with. And that's just the system that's broken at the foundation. But without going too far down that rabbit hole, I want to discuss the carnivore diet more specifically. And this is in part because it came into the view of Papa Swole, because on Joe Rogan's podcast, if anyone watches or listens to his content, whether or not you like him or dislike him, whether or not you know who the heck he is, he has a lot of different people on his show, which is interesting. You get a lot of different people from different, different backgrounds, different professions and things like that. And this one girl he had on today is doing a carnivore diet. Now, the interesting thing about her, her name is Michaela Peterson. If you know who Jordan Peterson is his daughter. And she had extremely, and she still has extreme autoimmune issues, to the point where she had major arthritis when she was a child. She was on like antidepressants and all these fucking things. And you can go listen to the podcast, this episode. I think it was yesterday that it went. And I listened to it, and I've heard about her. I heard about her story before, from when Jordan Peterson was on his show previously, and she had joint replacements, hip replacements when she was like 17, and ankle issues, like really nasty allergic reactions, nasty inflammatory responses, really, really bad. And to make a long story short, I highly recommend you go check that out, the podcast. And very rare, not everyone has her massive autoimmune issues, but is really bad. And the short of the story is she eventually just, she took it into her own hands, did her own research, and just kept on trying and failing and trying to remove something and then add something back in, and like it would fuck her up, and she would get like pins and needles and itchy all over her body, and she'd be aching for like weeks or a month after she would bring something back in, and eventually got to the point where she's only consuming beef, salt, and water, and like sparkling water. That's it. Beef and water. And now she has no issues. So she's pretty much allergic to everything. Everything. And I know you're thinking, like, how is this possible? How does this happen? And there really isn't. And the reason why no one really knows is because it's rare. Obviously, to that extent is rare. But I definitely recommend you going and checking out that episode, because it's just fascinating to listen to someone. And there are many other people that are on this type of diet that are doing carnivore. Now, the reason why I set up this whole podcast with all the other information or the philosophy around the other diets and how there's a very individual response to nutrition is because not everyone probably will react as well as she does. I mean, so there are other people that have reported great results with performance, with health, and they didn't have, all her autoimmune issues to begin with. And a lot of the things that we thought before just aren't correct. Like, you're thinking, okay, if you're eating just beef only, you're not getting enough vitamin C. You're going to have scurvy. And this is one of the things they discussed in the podcast. And a previous one also had some more content on this, that vitamin C and glucose compete for the same receptors. So when there's no sugar present, the vitamin C, your requirements for vitamin C actually drop dramatically. So your body actually creates sugar via gluconeogenesis from proteins. And your body does this now. Your body does this now already. But when there's a lot of sugar present, it's very easy for your body to just break down sugar. In other words, you're going through these insulin spikes. And we all know that diabetes is a huge issue, processed carbohydrates really aren't good for you. And this just constant influx of carbohydrates is generally a major issue. One of the reasons why I cool my sweet potatoes before I eat them is because when you cool sweet potatoes after cooking them, the starch is more resistant and there's less of an impact on blood sugar. So I love my sweet potatoes. I eat them cold. You can heat them up again after they're cold, but the more you cool them, if you heat them up again and cool them again, there's actually more resistant starch. But resistant starch just means it's resistant. It's not going to break down. It's not going to spike your insulin the same way. And I react really well to them. So I posted on YouTube this video just discussing the concept and trying to get some feedback from the audience on YouTube and what people thought about this. And if anyone tried it, I love my sweet potatoes and I love eating some of these other foods. But I don't know. I feel, and this was interesting because, and this is really where I kind of I don't want to say a light bulb went on, but I found a lot of similarities in what she said. She doesn't really eat any chicken. She really eats red meat. And she just kind of stopped having the same reaction to chicken, or birds and stuff like that. But she still craves just red meat. She just loves it. She always looks forward to her steak. She always looks forward to that. And I'm the same way. Every once in a while I'll have chicken, but I just don't want it. I never get tired of steak. I never do. Even if it was every day, I just never get tired of it. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm not saying that to be do this, follow me. But I just always want it. I'm never oh, I don't feel like a steak. Never. I've never felt that. So it just gets me thinking, maybe that's just a sign okay, maybe this would work for me. I don't know. I'm considering doing it. And tracking my journey, but then just because it's not something that's normal or normally discussed, it's oh shoot, am I going to put my health at risk? But there's other foods that I just don't have the same kind of craving for. And I tend to lean towards common sense and what the body's asking for, listening to your body, what it requires. And sometimes I just don't feel like eating sweet potatoes, or I'll forget to and just don't feel like it. Sometimes I just don't feel like having a salad. I don't crave a salad, but I always just want the beef. I don't know. It's an interesting thing. But just the fact that, the more she cut out, which is really just an extreme, it's really just an extreme elimination. And, what I find shocking or amazing, is some of these people don't really put as much stock into grass-fed beef. I'm shit, if I'm only eating fucking beef, I'm going to eat the highest quality beef I can. But I eat a lot of fat. I have the bone broth. I have fattier cuts of meat. I don't like lean meat. I just don't like the taste. It's just no taste. There's no taste, no flavor for a reason. It's just not, the beauty is in the fat, in my opinion. I like fattier cuts of meat. So yeah, I think some people aren't sure where to start. I mean, where else would you start? You don't have to worry about where to start. You just fucking eat meat, right? You're only eating meat. But here's what I do. And some people don't do the same thing. I mean, I eat organ meats already. I have some beef heart and beef liver and stuff in my grass-fed beef. And, I think the organ meats really do give you a lot of nutrients, of course, if you're not getting it from other sources, right? Because the animals eat the plants, and you're getting those nutrients from the animals, and you're eating the healthy tissue from these animals. So you're getting those micronutrients, and your body adapts like anything else. But when you're eating only meat, it's going to be pretty much ketosis, just because your body is going to be getting a lot of fat. You're not just eating just lean cuts of meat. You're going to still be hungry, but fat's very satisfying. Yeah, it's interesting. So I don't have any results or studies, but the Inuit have been doing it for years. There was a book that I actually looked into a long time ago, and they mentioned the podcast, where a guy or an explorer went to live with the Inuits for 5 years, came back, and him and someone else were under watch, and they did a carnivore diet for an entire year or two, and they documented everything. And there's a lot of positivity from what I hear and what I read from people that do it. So of course, like with anything else, just by people saying things, is it sustainable long term? Is it something that you can do for 50 years? Is it something that's going to bite you in the ass in 10 years? Is it something that you're going to do after a year or two? But from people that I've been reading and seeing videos, it's been like a year 2 years and they're feeling great, 5 years, 10 years. Of course, it also has to do with the issues that you might be having. If you have really severe issues, you're more likely to be like, fuck, I don't care about anything else. I don't want to have these issues. So you can do whatever it takes. But it's very interesting, and it's out in the open, and there's obviously gonna be more research on it and more interest in it. But I'm curious to try it. I do love my sweet potatoes. I get great pumps, but I'm curious. There's gonna be a transition period as with any nutrition diet, any kind of approach. You're gonna have this transition period where you might feel weird or feel uncomfortable until your body adapts to it and shifts over. I used to crave red meat, worked out, it was iron I was needing. Well, yeah, you get iron from your meat. Holly, is carnivore diet literally just meat, nothing else? Yeah, that's the carnivore diet. I think some people that do the carnivore eat, a little bit of some other things. They might have some fruit, or they might have a couple other things. So, like I said, it's not really, there isn't really all these different, really well-studied options. It's just what people do and they report their results kind of thing. Anna, I do know a few people that are on it and love the results. So, but how long have they been on it? How long have they been on it? Because what I see a lot on YouTube is, hey, I did the carnivore diet for 30 days. I don't think that means a damn fucking thing. That's what bothers me from the carnivore videos on YouTube. You'll see a lot of stuff. A lot of it's the 30 days shit, right? The thumbnails, the clickbait. What happened when I did 30 days of carnivore? And it shows them here, and then it shows a silhouette with a question mark, like, ooh, who knows what happens? I don't know. Click the video, watch, and see what happened. You're not going to know anything. You're not going to know anything substantial in 30 days from a diet. Sometimes these things take 4, 5, 6 weeks to even shift over before you feel really good. You might feel shitty for a month and then you feel amazing afterwards, but are you going to stick it out? I think in the interview, in this the Joe Rogan podcast interview, Michaela Peterson, I think she said that she had diarrhea for like 6 weeks, and then she felt great afterwards. But it was that 6-week period, and a lot of people probably would have stopped because they had diarrhea, for example. But she had here's the point. Here's the kicker: is that she had like such severe problems with depression and joint pain and arthritis that the diarrhea was actually a step up for her. So she actually it was either that or feel like absolute fucking hell. But then all of a sudden it got better right after. So 30 days isn't going to tell you anything. So that's where I'm curious. A lot of people are doing this 30 days bullshit, and you're not going to get any valuable information from anyone doing any kind of diet for 30 days. Leslie, I am just fine with grass-fed beef I can have for every meal. I've also tried cold sweet potatoes. I feel better now that I eat mostly this, don't feel sluggish. I agree. That's pretty much what I consume. And just for and literally, this is coming from a fitness professional. I mean, I have a lot of experience doing all these different types of diets. I've done a lot of different things, and this is the best I felt. The best my physique has looked, my skin, my energy. This is the best I felt. And I eat grass-fed beef, organ meats. I also have my sweet potatoes. Of course, I cool them first, and I usually have it cold. I just like cold food. But I usually have like a salad and avocados and olive oil, but that's mostly for conscience. I really don't like the salad. I don't like it. And the only reason I really eat it is because I put avocado and olive oil. I put fat all over it so it tastes good, and balsamic vinegar. So, I mean, I just crave fat. I love the fat. And I'm not going to eat the salad unless it has that on it. So do I really need that? Do I really need it? Is it something that is helping me, or is it something that's just kind of there? Is it getting in the way of other food? I always feel like sometimes these foods and some of the foods that we're consuming are fillers. And when you have fat and you're consuming fat from, let's say, steak, for example, you're going to be more satisfied. You're going to be full. And I will tell you, I literally don't have cravings. And I'm not joking. I literally don't have cravings. I just don't. I don't have cravings. I don't crave carbs. I don't crave sugar. I just don't have the cravings. I do have fruit. I eat my watermelon. I love my watermelon. I know it's sugar. It's also 92% water, but I could go without it. I don't, oh my God, it's just in season, or they have them at the store and I eat them. But I just don't crave. I don't crave the carbs. I don't crave the sugar. And you lose that. You lose the cravings. You just don't have them anymore. And if you got rid of some of these foods and you're eating the right ones, you're not going to have the cravings either. If you still have cravings, you just haven't gone long enough, or you're not eating the right foods to satisfy your body. If you're satisfying your body, you will stop having those cravings. They'll go away. They'll go away. They will. If you still have cravings, you're just not doing it right. You don't have it down yet, which is okay. You haven't figured it out yet for yourself. Gains at home on Instagram. Do you think grass-fed will be different than regular meat? I do, absolutely. More omega-3s, no hormones. Yeah, absolutely. I don't eat regular meat. I don't eat regular grain-fed meat. I mean, how much of a difference will it make? I don't know. But I would never do like bone broth or eat the organ meats of a sick animal, of a hormone injected and an animal that's eating the food that's not supposed to eat. I wouldn't do it consciously. If I did it by accident, like if you're eating something that says grass fed, 100% grass fed, and it's mislabeled and they were being sneaky, I mean, how are you going to know? But I wouldn't do it willingly. Anna, that's the reason I'd like to try. My hip was replaced a few years ago. I'm getting joint problems on the side. I lean most of my weight, and also my good hip is starting to wear out. I don't like veggies much at all. It probably wouldn't be a bad transition. Here's the thing. Really it's about what you have to lose. Like what do you have to lose by trying it? If you're already having issues and you need to figure something out, because a lot of those things are just systemic inflammation in your body. Arthritis is inflammation. And a lot of that can be caused by food, and likely is caused by food. And I'm not saying, of course, I'm not telling you to go do this, but if you're already considering it, and that's and the only reason why she was doing it, Michaela did it, is because she was at the end of her rope. She just didn't have any other options. Every time she ate something and she felt like fucking shit, why would she keep on eating it? She kept on eliminating things until all she was left with was fucking meat. So that's it. And now she feels good and she doesn't have any cravings, and that's all she's doing. Like, why would you go back? Of course not. So what do you have to lose? For me, I don't know if what do I have to lose? I don't know. I mean, if it's not good for me, it's not good for me, but it's something you want to track and monitor. But I'm curious. I'm curious if it makes someone that's healthy or that feels good already with what I'm eating, if it's going to make me feel better or worse. I don't know. I have a hard time thinking that it's going to make me feel worse, but I've never done it. I don't know. And in my brain, I still have that. I have that hesitation about it because we grow up thinking, okay, well-balanced diet. I need to eat a certain way. I need to do this. Well, what do you say for that? For that person? If she eats a balanced diet, she's going to fucking die. Right? So it really comes down to the individual. I mean, who can say what's right or what's best for someone else if you can prove it and you do it, and wow, it is better when this person does, right? That like the results show itself. And we all have this ability to test, and I'm not recommending it to anyone. I'm literally posing the question and bringing it to everyone's attention because you're going to see it. You're going to hear about it a lot more. I guarantee it. I just really have not heard bad things. I have not heard bad things. I'm waiting for someone. And if there is, it could just be, it doesn't mean that the entire nutrition is bad. It doesn't mean that the diet is bad. Like, oh, it's awful, it's bad. It just means maybe that one person didn't have a great experience, or maybe that one person genetically is not predisposed to liking that. Their body doesn't react well to only that. They need something else, right? Because we know for a fact that some people can live their whole lives being a vegan. Okay, pescatarian, vegetarian. We have proof of that. Standard American diet, of course, if you're on medication. I mean, so what's really the right answer? What's going on here? Is there one diet that fits all? We haven't found that yet, if there is. I don't think there could be, because obviously there's so many different options. There's only different options and different ways of eating because some people react better to different things. So it's kind of proof in itself that there isn't one answer for everyone. Do you eat grass-fed beef at each meal every day? Well, I don't have a lot of meals. I don't eat like 5 meals a day. I might eat once or twice, really. I don't eat a lot of meals. So I guess essentially sometimes I intermittent fast. I had a sweet potato this morning before I went to the gym. Excuse me. But so I wouldn't really call that a meal. And I haven't eaten since. I had some watermelon after I worked out. Like after this show, I'm gonna pound food. I'm hungry as hell. I was gonna eat earlier, but then I got wrapped up into. I got inspired to make that video that I posted on YouTube. So go check it out. I mean, it's the same topic, but I broke it down so you can go on YouTube and leave a comment. I'd appreciate that. It helps the YouTube channel a lot, and also I'll go over there and comment and answer back because I'm gonna probably make more videos and follow up on some other stuff and maybe critique some other people's videos on YouTube that have done the carnivore. Just curious about it. I'm curious. I'm poking around. I'm not convinced that I want to do it, but my ears are like, I'm kind of like a dog, like, meow, meow. I'm open to it. I'm thinking. Yeah, well, Anna, if you do it, make sure you do like before and after pictures. And also if you do it, Anna, I would recommend getting blood work done first, so you have something to compare it to. If you can. I know sometimes that stuff can get expensive, but if you do blood work first and you have some kind of comparison, if I did it, I would do it like that. I would do blood work at the beginning. I would do pictures, and I would just do like a daily vlog and update, day 1, day this. I don't know. I feel like I would kind of fall off doing that. Day 2, day 3, day 4. But I'm just curious. I'm curious. I am curious. I do feel good with what I'm doing right now, though. So why rock the boat at the same time? That's the thing. At the same time, if you can feel better and if you can do better and if you can get better results, wouldn't you want to, right? If you could have a better outcome. So I like where I'm at right now, but at the same time, if it could be better, I don't know. If it could be better, if it could be. And then it depends on how hard you go. Is it only going to be beef and salt like that? I don't think I can do just that, just beef and salt. I think there'd be like some pepper and garlic, and I think there'd be some other, little things. I don't think I would be meat only and it'd be only meat and that's it. I think there have to be some kind of other, I don't know. I would miss avocados, I think. What kind of blood work? Just blood work, like, to check your levels and your nutrient levels, your vitamin levels, your cholesterol, and just all the stuff in order to have something to compare it to. It's important then otherwise, how are you going to know? You're just going to check it at the end. You're not going to know where you started. So it'd be good to see what you're eating now and what the effect was in the future. I'm going to listen to that podcast. I've lived in pain ever since I can remember. Yeah, I would check it out. I think it's number 1146. I'm not sure, but it's the most recent one. You check it out. Joe Rogan podcast, Michaela Peterson. Yeah. And then you can come back and let me know what you thought of it. I mean, it sounds like you sounds like you have actually similar issues from her. Especially if you had a hip replacement and shit like that already and you're young, that's like literally what she had, but it sounds like she just had a lot worse. And look, there's 7 billion people in the world. There's going to be a lot of individuality. There's a lot of stuff going on. Not to mention, there's issues with the plants. A lot of you that have read the book, The Plant Paradox, and you know about these resistant aspects of plants and lectins and foods and things that are natural defense systems in plants. I don't know. It's something I don't crave. I don't crave veggies. I've never have. I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to have broccoli. Why do you think people put cheese on broccoli? Why do you think people put bacon on everything? It's because stuff tastes like shit. Throughout history, people used to only eat vegetables if you were poor or you didn't have any meat, right? Even in these like carnivorous cultures where they mostly eat fat and blubber and stuff, like the Inuits, they give the lean meats to the dogs because they're not flavorful and they don't have enough caloric density. Fat is more calorically dense per gram than carbs or protein. 1 gram of fat is 9 calories and a gram of carbs or protein is 4. So you're getting more than double the amount of calories for the same amount volume, the same mass of food. And it tastes better. I think it tastes good for a reason. I think fat tastes good for a reason because human beings need fat. We need that. So to what level we need that, to what level we can process that, to what's optimal for health, like I said, putting aside ethics and putting aside moral issues and humanitarian and blah, blah, blah issues aside and getting away from the ideologies of veganism and animals and this. Let's talk about it in terms of health and actual health and what's best for people or individuals. And then, and there's always going to be people with opinions, but if you go after health the most, how can you tell someone that is healthy now to eat something that's going to make them less healthy? And that's just not fair. We're all made differently, but I think there's a lot of individuality there. Let's see. I actually crave broccoli, haha, with sea salt grilled on the barbecue. You crave broccoli. Well, you grilled it like a steak. Of course you're going to love it. And look, I'm not saying you can't enjoy the taste of broccoli. I'm not saying I can't. I mean, I enjoy eating a salad. I do. But do I enjoy eating the lettuce? Right? Do I enjoy eating the lettuce? Or I'm putting it out there. Do I enjoy eating the lettuce, or do I enjoy eating the avocado and the olive oil all over it and the crunch of the lettuce? And I think the latter, honestly. I love avocado. I'll put a whole fucking avocado. I'll put 2 avocados on a salad and olive oil and balsamic vinegar all over it. You get that fat, and you get like the tang of the vinegar, the balsamic vinegar, and I'll eat it and it's crunchy. I don't crave the spinach leaf. You give me just the spinach, I'm going to be like, the fuck is this? Where's my food? Right? I mean, seriously, that's exactly where I draw the line, or where I'm trying to think of the two extremes. What do I really like about that salad? It's the stuff I put on it. Why do a lot of people that try to eat healthy still gain weight? Because they're putting cheese and ranch dressing and shit all over the salad. Salad tastes like shit. Come on, fam. Let's be honest here. It's the steak you put on the salad. It's the chicken you put on the salad. It's the Caesar dressing you're putting on your salad. It's the Italian dressing you're putting on your salad. It's the toppings. Why do you think these salad bars are a mile fucking long? It's not the lettuce and the spinach or the kale that you're craving. It's the stuff you're putting on it. And you get this illusion of health because, oh, I'm having a salad, a big salad, and you're putting croutons and fucking crap all over it. That's really why most of you like salads. You're not going to sit there and eat a bowl of dry kale. You're going to fucking hock your lung up. Kale raw is like the nastiest shit on the planet. It's disgusting. Is it really healthy for us? I don't know. Do you really need it? I don't know. I think it's okay to say we don't know. I think it's silly to say that you have an answer. I think that's ridiculous. Especially when you have something where nutrition science is so new. It's so new relative to human species, right? It's so new, our actual looking into nutrition. Not to mention we have big pharma and these massive food companies, that have all the money, and it's not in their best interest to really help us find true health. So all the money is in the company's hands that don't give a fuck about the real research, right? People are shoving research under the rug, hiding it so they can just promote their own agendas, okay? And sell their products, and right? You could do 1,000 studies and hide 950 of them and take the only 50 that might show blah, blah, blah. And that's legal, okay? And whatever gets printed might trickle down after a few years. It's just not realistic. It's not realistic. So this carnivore thing and this carnivore trend is the newest, right? The vegan thing was the, boom, it's like all the hipster, like vegan, that's the cool thing to do. Well, now we have the other extreme. We have carnivore. And that is so new that there aren't studies. There isn't a lot, but there's a lot of other evidence and people that are posting videos. Now we have all these quote unquote studies of people that are doing it themselves, testing themselves. It's a self-study essentially, right? And reporting good things or having positive outcomes. So how can we really, it's something we have to look at. And because it's so new and there isn't that kind of research where we could say this is healthy or this is good or this is bad for these people, this is good for these people. And it's like, holy shit, we really don't know much at all. And I hope this might open your eyes to how little we know about nutrition. Just the simple fact that in 2018, we could be having this conversation on this podcast. And example, the Joe Rogan, it's one of the biggest podcasts in the world, if not the, right? And we're having this conversation where people are like, oh, we have to look into this more. Like, oh man, this is new. Oh, we'll have to check this out. I mean, blah, blah. We don't fucking know. it's okay not to know, but the opposite is just ignorance to say that we have the answer, because this is potentially promising. It's interesting. It just goes against everything we've ever taught, we've ever been taught. It goes against everything we've ever really learned, right? We're always taught, come on. I mean, think about why our brains find it a challenge to wrap around this concept. Because we've never done it, right? We've never done it as humans. Like since growing up, we had the food pyramid, eat a well-balanced meal, eat all these things. So it's not so much that we're learning something new. It's that we have all this baggage in our brains that we are having a hard time unlearning to allow this concept to really flourish in our brains. And again, I'm not saying that this is the answer. I'm not saying that this is a good thing. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing either. But we have all these doctrines in our brain that are just sitting in there since we were born. And this concept is so new, it's hard to think of it as something legitimate. Yeah, it's just so different than anything we've ever experienced or ever thought about. And I have to say that the initial feedback from what I've been reading and hearing and listening to is just extremely interesting and almost overwhelmingly positive. I haven't seen a lot of negative things. I mean, I'm sure people can get bored. I'm sure I'm probably going to poke through those YouTube videos. And if any of you come across some content, you want to send it my way for me to check out, I mean, more than happy for you to do that. I'm curious because some of these videos are 30 days and 30 days of going carnivore. I think that's nowhere near enough for a decent test. I think it has to be probably like at least 6 months to a year. And after 30 days, of course, you're going to have cravings. You're probably going to be bored. You might still be in the middle of those health issues, right? You might have diarrhea. You might have like issues because your body is still like, what the hell's going on? So I'm not going to trust those results from people that are only doing it for 30 days. You know, you have to be very careful with what kind of like length of time that people are doing this and giving their responses to. 30 days, okay, you might have some insights, you might be able to see some patterns, but 30 days is not an answer. 30 days is not evidence. 30 days is not proof. 30 days is not anything really that leads to something valuable. 30 days is just, okay, you started something and then you stopped before you really got into it. So what am I supposed to take from this 30-day test, right? And that's my opinion, but it's also, it's my opinion, but it's really more factual. You can't really gauge a diet in 30 days. You can't. You might have lost a couple pounds. Cool. I mean, you cut out carbohydrates, you're going to lose water. What does that prove? Sometimes you go vegan for a few weeks and you feel great. And then after 6 months, you crave meat. You don't feel so good anymore because those nutrient deficiencies that you maybe didn't cover your bases with start adding up and then you start feeling like crap. So what are you going to test? Or you're going to give your response like, hey, I love the vegan diet after 4 weeks, but then in 6 months, holy shit, I feel like crap. Well, that video that you made after 30 days is still sitting on YouTube. And now after 6 months, holy crap, you feel like shit. You need to make that follow-up video. You know, not getting all the answer, not getting all the deets, right? So yeah, just my 25 cents. Papa Swole don't give 2 cents. He drops a quarter. I drop a quarter every time. Quarter, $50. Oh, I had to burp. Can't wait to see what you think in 6 months. What I think in 6 months? Well, I didn't say I was going to do it. I didn't say I was doing it though. Instagram. I didn't say I was. I'm considering it. I'm thinking about it. David, I did an experiment eating a low-calorie diet and I lost a little weight. Oh, that just disappeared. An experiment with a low-calorie diet? What does that mean? Kale with chopped asparagus, cooked in a wee bit of coconut oil and sprinkle coconut sugar on it and cook it for about a minute longer. Really tasty. Yeah. A lot of things with coconut oil and sugar on it will taste great. Of course it tastes good with that shit on it. You know, it's like you put bacon on something. Oh, this shoe tastes really good. This shoe bacon is amazing. You wrap this fucking shoe leather in bacon. Oh, it's divine. Tastes like bacon. This shoe leather tastes just like bacon. You fry up leather in bacon grease. Of course it's going to taste better. Steve El Camino. Damn it, late to the party. I'm actually wanting to go carnivore. I've tried and eliminated most types of carbs and they all make me bloated, even veggies. Anyways, what's up, Senior Swole? I highly recommend checking out this episode, man. Maybe it might be something that you can look. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to kill anyone. That's just the point. Again, I'm not recommending anyone do it, but it's just the fact. If you do it properly, right? If you're eating organ meats and you're eating, enough sufficiently, and you monitor yourself, and if you have nothing to lose and you have these issues, right? I mean, who's to say that this couldn't be you as well? This could not be something that you're in this category. Not everyone's going to have the same kind of like level of immune issues and autoimmune disease that Michaela Peterson has. But at the same time, you might have a couple shades of that. Maybe you're a level 3 and she's a 10. Maybe you're a level 4. Maybe you're level 5. Hell, maybe I'm a level 1, but maybe I could be a level 0. That's what I'm thinking of, right? I might not have any glaring issues where I feel great, but what if I could feel greater, right? What if I could feel more great? What if I could feel even better? What if I'm a 9 right now? What if I could be a 10? Who's to say that if I do this, I'm going to go down to a 6 or a 7? What if I feel even better? What if I just feel even more amazing than I do now? That's what piques my interest. I added bacon and eggs and lost more. Yeah, and I haven't had eggs in, I'd have to say a couple months. I haven't had eggs in a few months. No eggs, just not craving. I just threw out 4, I feel bad because they expired. I'm not going to eat them. And it was expired a couple months. And it was just like, pastured eggs. I know. It was just, I look at that, I'm like, fuck, what a waste of money, food. But, threw them out. 4 dozen eggs. They were just sitting in there. Maybe it wasn't 4. Maybe one of the containers was like half, but just sitting in the fridge for months. Just stopped opening them because I was eating more beef and I just didn't want the eggs. I just didn't crave any eggs. I tend to get gassy from eggs too. And some people have, egg allergies. I tend to get gassy, or, you get those egg poops, those sulfur poops, sulfur farts, right? Who wants that stuff? I mean, some people have issues with eggs. I mean, it's hit or miss, but it happens. That's what I'm thinking. Always could feel even better. Yeah, why not? I mean, if it's a possibility to feel even better, it's something to think about. And that's what I'm saying is keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, to the streets, and just pay attention to what's going on. But at the same time, any kind of research that will be definitive is going to take years to come out, if that, right? But it doesn't mean that you can't test yourself. It doesn't mean that you can't go through this yourself. Just be careful. Make sure you do your research and look it up enough and check this out. But you could definitely check out that podcast if you want to listen to her story. I think it's fascinating. It's really interesting. And who's to say she's wrong, right? I mean, she just literally, all it is her talking about her experience. And now she feels the best she's ever felt. And that's what she's doing. Beef, salt, and water. It's like, fuck. Well, obviously that works for her. Is that some kind of a hack that we're figuring out that maybe more people could benefit from? Holly, I find that the more I simplify my diet, the better I feel. Less range of foods. I haven't had eggs in a while. Just don't want them. Me too. I just don't want them. It's that simple. Instagram is going to cut off in a second, but I might restart it. So if it cuts out, you have to restart because after an hour it cuts off. So I'll end it now, actually. Hold on a second. Let me get them back up here because I think we're going to be talking. Got some comments for a few more seconds. David Fowler loves sulfur farts. Kills the old lady. Yeah, I feel bad for her. Shit. Aaron, the next hipster diet fad should be dog lifestyle diet. Eat your poop, shit your own food. Okay, dumb jokes aside. I'm here late, but I love meat. I'm not going to go full carnivore because people are omnivores, but it's interesting. Are we? Are they? Just because people can eat both, maybe you can get better health benefits by not eating both. That's what we're discussing here. That's what we're talking about. I mean, doesn't mean that we have to eat one thing or the other. Omnivores just means we can. Doesn't mean we're supposed to. Doesn't mean we have to. And when you think about it, if you live in a climate, think about this. If you live in a climate like a cold weather climate or up north, in the winter, you're not getting veggies, right? You're not farming, you're hunting. You're hunting elk and caribou and moose and stuff like that, right? You're getting bear. You're hunting things that provide nutrients in winter times. You're hunting things. So that is something to consider. It's something to consider. It's something to consider. And there's evidence that people are seeing benefits from it. That's all I'm sharing with everyone. It's interesting stuff. Yeah, it's nice out. Vince, my wife didn't have anything glaring wrong, but when she finally came aboard the train, she now found foods. I thought I said boobs. She found boobs. Wow. She found foods that when trying them again after a month killed her. I was like, exactly. You don't know until you try. That's also true. So again, I'm not necessarily recommending that anyone go and do this. However, if you are kind of at your limit trying different things, it's essentially as extreme as an elimination diet as you can get if you only did meat. It's as extreme an elimination diet. I mean, and there's really nothing wrong with it if you come back from that eating other foods and you find that some of these foods that you didn't know that you were eating that are bad. It doesn't mean that you're a carnivore, you go carnivore forever, but maybe it can help isolate certain foods that you were still eating that you thought were good for you that it turns out really aren't. It's a learning curve. And I think if you take real stock and you really invest in your body in terms of your health with time and patience and really putting effort into it, like something like this and trying it, you can really find out some information. I don't know. Part of me feels like I'd regret not trying it. I feel really good with what I'm doing right now, but I'm curious. I'm telling you, fam, I'm curious. And you better believe if I did it, if I do it, that I'll track it and I'll keep everything. I'll make sure I'll be talking about it all the time and I'll be testing it. But I'm curious. I mean, the Swolenormous side of me is like, oh shit, that's great content. I can make a lot of videos on that and it'd be great. And I can do a daily vlog and update everyone and track and blah, blah, blah. And then part of me is like, I don't want to do all that. I don't want to do all that work. That's the other part. But I think I don't want to always be curious. But yeah, just thinking. It could be something fun. It would be great content, but I couldn't just do 30 days, but I have to track it. I would literally have to plan it all out and make sure that I'm doing everything properly, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see. But that's it for today. If you want to go check out that podcast, someone gave the number before, but it's the one yesterday, Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan Experience podcast with Michaela Peterson. This is what spurned this episode and the video that I made on YouTube about the carnivore diet, just raising this question, just continuing the conversation because it piqued my interest and I wanted to share with all of you because we talk about grass-fed beef a lot, we talk about nutrition a lot, and just wanted to really bring to the forefront that as human beings, because this poses a potential real boon for health. I mean, from some people are really seeing benefits from this, that we really don't know that much about nutrition because this is new. I mean, come on, if this is new. It's 2018. You think we know all about the human body? We don't. So this is something that's interesting that we're going to see a lot more probably in the next coming years. So we'll talk about it. 90 days, probably more than that. Probably more than 90 days. That would have to be more, but we'll see. I mean, after 90 days, if it's still going well, you keep going. But I'm thinking that, if we do it, I'll probably be talking about this in the private Swolenormous group, Swolenormous X group. And I will be going live and posting some new updates and things like that next couple days for all you Swolenormous X members. Oh, just to remind everyone that this weekend until Sunday at midnight, you can use the code SWOLE25, SWOLE25 at checkout. You get 25% off the unlimited memberships, either the monthly or the annual membership at swolenormousx.com. So if you're ready to start your program, it's been redesigned, updated, and a lot of new stuff coming. And literally when you sign up, you get step-by-step instructions how to begin the program. It's all laid out for you. You get access instantly, your login credentials. You can go right to the Get Started series and the video series that helps walk you through the program, and you can get started today. I really do think it's the best time to start whatever you're going to do with your nutrition and your training. You do it now because right now, the end of August, a couple days into September, this is the time before the holiday season where you really want to be full steam. You don't want to be hitting Thanksgiving and Halloween and Christmas and New Year's and all this fucking shit. Like, why wait till January 1st to start, right? Why wait till after the holidays? Why not have 3 months head start, 4 months head start, right? September, October, November, December. Why not have 4 months ahead? And I'm really going to be pushing that hard all month. The fact that now is the time to start. Now is the time to get going. Now is the time to begin your fitness and your nutrition journey. And if you're already in it, now's the time to take it that next fucking step up. Do not wait for New Year's. And I know no one's thinking about New Year's. No one's thinking about Christmas. No one's thinking about Halloween. No one's thinking about Thanksgiving now. And there's a reason for that, because everyone's short-sighted. People don't think long-term. But all of a sudden, you're going to fucking open your eyes, and it's going to be in the middle of the holidays, and you're going to be fat as shit, lazy as hell, and you're going to use that stupid ass excuse, I'll just wait till New Year's, and you're going to gain those 20 or 30 pounds, and you're going to be a long way behind where you could be if you started today. So 25% off memberships this weekend only until midnight on Sunday. Swole 25 at checkout, swolenormousx.com. Don't miss it. And that's right. Fit food, fresh-tastic. What up, Case? Before the gym is packed. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. The gym was empty. My gym was empty today. Isn't today like Labor Day weekend? It's Labor Day. I didn't even know that. I walk in, I see a sign that says, "Oh, we're changing the hours for the gym." Like, what is it now? Oh, Labor Day. Every day is Labor Day to make sick fucking gains. Got to work on those gains. But yeah, today was just dead, empty, and it seems like it will be like that all weekend. So, yay for Papa Swole. You're gonna make those gains. Make those gains. So yeah, go check out that podcast, and I'll keep you updated. We'll discuss this in the future if I want to try this. Might try it. I'm thinking. We'll talk more about it soon. All right. I will see everyone tomorrow for episode 848 of the Most Muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gaincast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Slaycast, Sleazecast, Nipplecast, Taintcast. Ooh, Taintcast on a Friday, and Carnivore cast, potentially, in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Thanks for joining me. See you tomorrow, 8:48. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce, Magoose. Papa Swolio. Out.